I got a question for you. What do you think most people do on their off day? Assuming that they don't have kids or any crazy amount of responsibilities, when the laundry's done, what do most people do? I've noticed that when I talk about my hobbies and interests, people do kind of just stare at me blankly. It's made me think, what is it they want to talk about in conversation? And the main thing that people engage with, especially people my age, is internet gossip, for lack of a better term. And there's nothing wrong with gossip, right? I mean, it keeps society together in some ways, but I would like those conversations to be a little less frequent because I want to get to know the person I'm talking to. Gossiping doesn't really let you get to know someone. And so when I dig around for something substantial, a lot of the time we kind of come up with nothing. And if you think about chronically online people, that makes sense. What is there to talk about other than what other people are talking about? And chances are, if you're chronically online, the people you have gravitated toward are also chronically online, right? They get your jokes and they understand your humor because their humor is also fed to them in the same algorithms that you see. But in a way, that's not great either, because that means other people kind of just become an extension of your algorithm. They don't really add anything to what you're saying so much as echoing the stuff that they saw online that chances are you've already seen. So then what's the difference between hanging out with people in real life and being online? That difference becomes less substantial the more online you are. And the perspectives that people share based on what they're seeing online end up kind of being not the perspectives they have based on the information, because online you're not just getting the information, you're also getting people's perspectives. In fact, a lot of the information is filtered through what did people who like sharing their takes online think about the information, and so everyone's takes on the situations end up being the same too, which might be the worst part of it, because anything could be interesting when people start sharing opinions, but if you're just sharing other people's opinions, what are you really left with? Hanging out with one person becomes a lot like hanging out with anyone else. And algorithms lead to echo chambers, and I don't need to explain why that's bad on a sociological level. I assume you know. But also, this thing's making a horrible sound. In real life, algorithms and echo chambers mean that chances are when you're around people of the same demographic, they have the same information as you, right? So everyone's sharing the same perspectives, so you're in an echo chamber in real life, and that's really boring. That's really boring. That's not interesting. That's not compelling. You're not going to get new information and perspectives, and you're also not going to be challenged on any of the perspectives you already have. I mean, to me, that's the biggest problem. I feel like I don't learn much from talking to my friends and talking to my coworkers and everyone because people don't have different information than me. And as I get less online, I'm noticing it even more. Everyone else kind of has a similar perspective, and so conversations cannot be very deep. They just have to be surface level because that's where everyone is, and I think that that's unfortunate. I also think it means that people can't handle disagreements as well, and I don't mean people can't handle when someone disagrees with them. I mean that they get this goal of trying to convince the other person rather than trying to find what is accurate, and to me that's absurd, right? Like, I'm interested in what's true, right? You read an article about something, that person saw a TikTok about something, and I read a book about something, so somewhere between the three of us, we have the truth in there, right? I mean, that's a bunch of information. Let's try to figure out what's right rather than assuming that because I saw it on the internet, that must be the truth. It just doesn't make any sense. I also think hobbies are very unrelatable to people because they can't necessarily comprehend why you would do something purely for fun. Like, why bother getting better at something just for the sake of getting better at it? There's no, like, instant dopamine, instant gratification. There's no reward for it at work or anything. So why bother, right? It's like how a lot of people are into fitness, but not many people are into, like, sports and activities that involve using your body that aren't just for the purpose of fitness. And I did see a study that showed fewer people are into team sports now, like fewer adults, recreational team sports, but more people are into fitness. So they're more into the solo thing and they're less into the social thing. If I had to guess, it would be because the people they see online who are in really good shape are fitness influencers, so they're at a gym, they're not like playing sports or whatever. And I don't know, I just think that's unfortunate. I feel like we can do better than that. But again, there's nothing wrong with any of these things individually. It's just a matter of, I don't think if everyone were to zoom out and make a choice, that this would be the choice that they're making. Planting some potatoes, they're growing. Oh God. It's fine. So I think that's why I felt more distance from people who are chronically online. They're just doing life in a way that doesn't involve as much activity. Not physical activity, but active pursuit of interests and hobbies. And in a lot of ways, that's pretty unrelatable. And again, not just to offline people like me, it's also unrelatable to other chronically online people, because what's the basis of the relation? I don't think I'm the only person feeling this way, right? Like that, I don't think my feelings are unique here, but where are the other people who feel like this? Because I'd really like to meet other interested people, and I rarely hear this perspective. And it makes me think maybe they're not feeling or thinking this because their friends are so offline that they don't even have this problem. It feels like there is a growing chasm where some people are using technology to live their best life, and some people are using it to spend every day doing what they would describe as doing nothing. And I have to imagine doing nothing every day sure makes it hard to do anything. But if I feel like I'm surrounded by this, that's kind of on me too, right? That's kind of a skill issue. I have to go out and find where people are who aren't like this, where people are who are living vibrant lives outside of work, maybe also at work too, but who have hobbies and who have interests and have interesting things to say. I just haven't quite found the places to meet people like that. And that's a skill issue on me. Makes me think about my dad, who moved to South America, I think in his 20s, and he lived in a bunch of different countries and traveled through a bunch of different countries. The way he describes it, pretty much everyone had a vibrant social life and had a lot of hobbies. He said people generally spent their time when they weren't working, going dancing, reading, talking about politics, talking about all sorts of stuff. I mean, I don't think he was someone who would have described himself as an artist, but he got a film camera and he's got a sketchbook and he just made art because he liked the stuff he was saying, so he just engaged with it more fully. I don't think most people are doing stuff like that today. I don't think most people are, but he just had a mild interest in art and in where he was, and so he just pursued it for while he was there. And when you're not scrolling all the time, you can pursue mild interests. You have the time. And we all generally agree that kids spend too much time on devices. iPad kids and brain rot, and the kids are on TikTok and all that, right? That's all bad, but adults are doing that to themselves with free will, with fully developed frontal lobes and fully in charge of their lives. They're doing that anyways. And you can say it's the fault of tech companies, you can say it's the fault of whoever, and I don't disagree. Of course, tech companies are willing to ruin society to squeeze as much profit out of it as possible, of course. But don't you owe yourself more than passively consuming life's content? A few years ago, most people I knew were mildly into politics. And now most people I know, it's not that they don't care about it, it's that they're not really interested in it anymore. Initially, I don't understand why, because surely the political situation now is more compelling to get someone involved than it was a few years ago, right? But it's not in people's algorithms anymore. And so they don't care about it. People's personalities are being replaced by their algorithms. And so sometimes when I'm with people and I don't know why it feels superficial, I can't help but think I'm not spending time with a person. I'm spending time with their algorithm. Maybe that's dramatic or extreme. I don't know. And again, I'm not trying to be judgmental. The tech companies do make it hard. And being overworked and tired does make it hard. I'm not saying any of this is easy. But I do think people shouldn't make me feel so crazy for not being on the internet all the time. And I want to relate to people better, so I need someone to help me out with where can I meet more not chronically online people, and how can I connect better to people who are chronically online, because they are good people, and I do want to connect with people better in general. And I live in Chicago, and I know that in the summers there's a huge culture around like outdoor sports, especially volleyball and stuff like that, and I do want to get into that. But in the meantime, I gotta figure out how to make better connections. I mean, it's warming up outside. It's getting nice out here. You guys want to come over? Let's go grill. Let's go grill. Come on, come over. I'm making carne asada. Let's do it. Let's have a picnic. Let's throw a frisbee. Let's throw a football. What if I threw a football? Huh? What would you do? And the last thing I want to leave you with is it's not just that internet bad, it's also that hobbies good. I really don't know where people are getting their confidence if not hobbies, because any job can be depressing. Sometimes jobs can give you confidence, but that's not going to happen all the time. There's always going to be setbacks. So where are you getting confidence if you don't have hobbies where you can safely take risks and watch them pay off and get through it when they don't? Because you have to imagine If you spend most of your time scrolling, if that's your default thing, then it's probably hard to do anything, right? Well, it's certainly going to be hard to take a risk or to do something that may or may not pay off, which if you have a hobby, you do that all the time. Having hobbies and spending every day doing new things, doing creative things, doing tiring things, hard things, has made me believe that I can do just about anything. I don't know what I'd do without that confidence. Because I don't know about you guys, but sometimes having a job is a great destroyer of confidence. And again, not having a job is also a great confidence destroyer. So, what are you gonna do? I don't know. I just wanted to remind you guys of the free will that you do have, because you do have it, and make sure that if you are spending all your time online, make that a choice. Make that something that you do because you want to do, not because it's the default. My hobby should be taking care of my knees.